during this Virtual McArt lesson, I am going to be showing you guys how to create these beautiful paper beads that look almost like glass, where they're so shiny. They're very simple to make and super fun. We only need a few materials for this creation. We need a sheet of normal document printer paper, the thinner variety. Thicker paper will be a little harder for this activity, so make sure it's just normal printer paper. I have my Crayola marker pens here, a ruler, a pencil for drawing out some triangles on this, a pair of scissors, a little bit of Elmer's glue. Mine is on a piece of cardboard here. I've got some shrink wrap. You'll need some plastic to lay your beads down on to dry. I have a couple of little straws that I will be making my beads onto. These can be any kind of straws, paper or plastic. And then I have for mine a little necklace clasp here. You can use normal string or create your very own braid as well. Now, to begin our African paper beads, what we need to do is draw out the triangular shapes that will eventually be the beads. Now, I am using just a normal sheet of paper. This is just thin paper. It needs to be a thin paper so it's easy to manipulate with the glue. Now, along the top here, I've got my ruler and I'm going to do a little mark at every 1 inch. All the way along, 1 inch. Perfect, right the way along. So each one is 1 inch apart. Now I want to do the same at the bottom, but this time I want to start 1/2 inch in. So I'm going to start on the 1/2 inch here, and then half again, and again. And I'm going to go across the bottom, doing every 1/2 inch. And you'll see why in a second. Now what I want to do is join the top and the bottom. So I've got my 1/2 inch marker down here and my 1 inch marker at the top. And when I join the two, I end up with a little triangle, like so. Perfect. So again, going from my 1 inch down to my 1/2 inch marker. And can you see how I'm getting these lovely skinny little triangles here? I'm going to go all the way along. There we are. There we go. Now what I need to do is cut my little triangles out. So I'm going to run along the lines as best I can and cut so I have some lovely triangles ready to put my patterns on. So just follow along your pencil lines and cut out each of your little triangles. There we go. I have my triangles cut out, but what I want to do now is lay down a sheet of paper to protect my table, because this bit can be a little bit messy. Now, I have my marker pens here, my Crayola markers, and what I'm going to do is make some beautiful patterns on the sides of my beads. So I'm going to select a few different colors. I think I'm going to do black and red for this one. Now, you don't need to color in the entire bead. You are actually only going to see a tiny bit of trim on the outside edge. So with my marker pen here, I'm going to do a fun stripy pattern all the way down that is red and black. And you can see now why I've laid down the paper, because it's a little scruffy. You're working right on the edge of the triangle, so it's very hard to keep the marker pen on. I'm being quite scruffy, doesn't matter. And there we go. There is my first bead. That's all you need to do. Once you've colored one in like this, lay it to one side and have a go at creating another one. Now this one I'm going to do black and white. I'm actually going to do some little spots going all the way down. This is going to be a funky looking one. So all the way down. Use whatever colors you want and make it look beautiful. If you're thinking of doing a unicorn fairy style bead, then do all pinks and yellows and bright colors. If you want more of an African style, then go for more animal prints, black, yellow, orange. Whatever you would like to do with yours. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. There we go. I have 2 done already. Let's have some fun, guys. I think I'm going to do a yellow and pink one next. So for this one, I'm going to do yellow all the way down on both sides. Lovely. And then I'm going to do some little pink stripes that go away. Just that little bit on the outside edge is all you need to do. And this side. Okay guys, let's go through our little paper triangles. And create some beautiful beads. guys, that bit is complete. Let's get the markers out of the way. Ready for the messy bit, okay? Don't try and keep the glue off your fingers. You are going to get glue on your fingers. This is a sticky project, but it is so worth it. Now, what I have here are some little wooden straws. Well, actually, they're paper straws, but they have a wooden pattern on them. Now, you need any kind of straw, paper or plastic. It really doesn't matter. The straw, the beads will either slide off or we're going to cut the straw and they will be a part of the bead. There's 2 ways of doing this and I'm going to show you both of them. Now, what we want to do, take 1 straw and we're going to take our glue here. I have my Elmer's glue and I'm going to start by putting the very bottom of my bead into the glue. There we go. And sticking it to my straw. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to literally do this with my fingers. I'm going to wrap around. Oop, there we go. Now what's going to happen is where I love using Crayola marker pens for this. The marker pen is actually going to kind of smudge with the glue. And you get this beautiful kind of marbly tie-dye effect. And with the glue, when it dries, it has this really gorgeous glossy look to it. So they look like glass beads. This is one of my favorite projects to do. It is messy, it's very messy, but it's so worth it. So you can see where I'm wrapping that around all the way. And now you can really see why we only put that pattern on the outside of that little triangle. There we go. Making sure I have a nice coat of glue over the top using my fingers here. There we are. And there we go, guys. Bead number 1 done. Now I'm going to do beads going all the way along this straw. Now here is a really helpful hint. When you do this, make sure you have a little bit of shrink wrap on standby. So when you are done, lay your beads on the shrink wrap. If you lay your gluey beads on paper, it will dry to the paper. Then when you peel it off, you're going to be missing a chunk of your bead. So make sure you lay it on the plastic wrap. So here we go. Second bead. This is the really fun bit, seeing how all the patterns turn out that you created. Remember guys, you can be as creative as you want. You don't have to do the same size. You could make massive beads if you wanted to, or tiny, tiny little beads. You could do whatever you want. I have seen my students make the most phenomenal African beads that have just blown me away. You can do whatever you want. Have a go at these ones. Once you've got the hang of it, get creative. there you can see we have one row of beautiful beads complete. Now remember, don't lay it down on paper. I have my shrink wrap over here. So I'm going to lay it down on my shrink wrap and just put that to one side. And then I have another straw here, and I'm going to go ahead and get my remaining beads done. Make sure your beads have that lovely glossy finish. Take your finger and smooth over the finished bead so there is no flat matte paper showing. It's a lovely glossy bead that will dry looking like glass. And there we go. I'm gonna pull in my other beads here so you can see them both. Ooh. Onto the shrink wrap. Remember, don't lay them down onto paper or you'll end up peeling off half your beads when they've dried. Now we need to be patient. These are going to take a good hour to dry. You really want to make sure they're totally dry before you cut them apart, or they may start to unravel, or you're just going to get covered in glue again. So take a break, start another amazing creative activity whilst you wait for these ones to dry, and don't forget to wash your hands. I will see you guys soon. Okay guys, we are back and we have the super fun bit left to do. We have our gorgeous beads here, nice and dry and lovely and shiny, where they're covered in the glue that gives it that nice glassy look, and they are super hard as well. They've dried like lovely beads. Now what we're going to do is use our scissors here to cut the straw away and leave us with just the beads. So I'm going to cut on one side and on the other side, and there you can see I have one beautiful shiny bead. So what I'm going to do now is go through and cut all of my beads, cutting the straw away. I'm going to throw this little bit away and just keep the beads. There we go. We have our absolutely gorgeous little beads here, made from paper, covered in a little bit of Elmer's glue to give that beautiful gloss. Now what we need to do is the really fun bit. We're going to thread up our bracelet or necklace. Now I have a necklace chain here. You can use string or wool or whatever you have to hand, even make a beautiful braid. I'm going to go ahead and thread all of my beads onto my chain here. There we go. We are finished. I'm going to just do the clasp up on mine and show you a totally completed, beautiful paper bead necklace. There we go. That looks absolutely gorgeous. Now you know how to make these beautiful paper beads. You can really have some fun with it. Come up with your own funky designs. Do different styles, different colors. If you keep on wrapping the paper over and over, you will end up with really round beads rather than these skinnier beads here. Have a play around and see what awesome, dazzling creations you guys can come up with. Please share your creations. We love to see how wild your imaginations are. Remember guys, the most important thing, no matter what you choose to do, is that you have fun.